All right. Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. My name is Samuel, and it is my pleasure to welcome everyone to our Facebook Live engagement session titled Get Inspired by MICPA High Scorers by Sunway Test and MICPA Kents. MICPA program is offered in Sunway Test since January 2019, and our student number has been steadily increasing. Our student is comprised of self-sponsored students, corporate-sponsored students, and Yayasan Peneraju scholars. For today's sharing session, we will take you on a journey that highlight the life stories of our top scorers, the real-life challenges that they encountered in preparing for MICPA examinations, and the motivation behind their success. We hope that you will greatly benefit from today's session. Okay, now I would like to extend a warm welcome to Miss Emily Chong, the head of program of MICPA, to deliver her welcome speech and a short introduction of MICPA Kent's program at Sunway Test. Welcome, Miss Emily.
And thank you for joining this evening engagement session. It is a pleasure to have two of our top scorers with us tonight, Joshua Looi and Muhammad Firdaus. So get ready to be inspired. I'm Miss Emily, head of MICPA program of Sunway Test CAE. CAE stands for Center for Accounting Excellence. Sunway Test CAE starts offering MICPA Kent's program in term 1 of 2019. For the upcoming term 3 2020, we are offering the two advanced stage module, Text 320 and AAA 320. Both modules are offered full-time and part-time. For term 3 2020, for the first time, we are also offering one professional stage module, FR 320, Financial Reporting 320. This is a module for degree students who didn't take up advanced financial accounting during the degree, so-called degree qualification, so they can prepare to take up this module before progressing to the ASE level. And one for term 3 2020 has started yesterday. So for more information, you can refer to the MICPA Kent's website. Classes will commence on the 9th of September. At Sunway Test CAE, all candidates will go through a series of guided learning processes such as lectures, revision classes, as well as the progress test and mock exam prior to attempting the finals. The internal tests and exam are indicators of the candidate's progress in their studies. Subject that develop the soft skill of candidate has been incorporated into the MICPA program at Sunway Test, with the aim to prepare the candidates with a range of graduate level skills required for the job market. This includes communication skill, interpersonal skill, as well as resume writing skill. One-to-one mock interview will be conducted. So why should candidates take MICPA Kent's program? Well, we will leave this question for the two top scorers tonight to answer. So without further ado, I would like to pass the next section to Samuel. Samuel, over to you. Thank you.
Thank you, Miss Emily, for the informative sharing. All right, moving on to our main highlight of the night, forum session with our MICPA high scorers. Tonight, we are delighted to have Eileen Gracely, MICPA Head of Marketing, to host the forum session. And before I hand over the session to them, allow me to give a short introduction of our host and our high scorers. Eileen has worked with the Institute for the past 8 years. She graduated with a double degree in Commerce and Science from New Zealand and worked with 2 Big 4 firms before joining MICPA. She truly believes that MICPA dual qualification opens the most door for aspiring accountants. Our first top scorer of the night is Joshua Looi. A little introduction about him. He is currently a part-time MICPA candidate in Sunway Test, and currently he works as an auditor in KPMG. He graduated from University of Melbourne, majoring in economics and finance. He has been working in KPMG for 3 years and led several audit engagements. In Term 1 2020 examination, He is Dato' O Chong Peng Gold Medal winner for the paper Audit and Assurance. Our second top scorer is Muhammad Khairil Firdaus bin Rosli. He is a full-time MICPA candidate under Yayasan Peneraju sponsorship in Sunway Test. He graduated from University of Auckland with a Bachelor of Commerce majoring in accounting. He has completed 3 MICPA modules and passed his financial accounting and reporting paper with merit in Term 3 2019 examination. Now, it is my uttermost pleasure to welcome Eileen, Joshua, and Firdaus.
Hello.
Hi, thanks so much, Samuel, for that introduction. So at MICPA, we're always so excited to speak to our candidates and graduates, as we know you've all got great experiences to share. And we're truly proud to see how well you're both doing in the program. So just to share, we have 2 modes of study, and each of our guests tonight have gone through a different mode. Joshua is doing part-time study and Firdaus is doing full-time study. But before we get into that, just generally, can I get each of you to share your journey from your decision to pursue accounting to how you ended up doing MICPA and why you chose this path?
Funnily enough, I was originally an economics and finance student in my uni. And I got into accounting mainly because I decided to join a Big Four, and Big Four will always push you to do accounting. And plus, accounting is the language of business. If you want to succeed in business, generally you'll want to know accounting. So why I picked MICPA out of all the courses is actually the course that all the Big Four firms are promoting right now. I suspect it's because it's got a timeline that really fits their audit schedules, and also it's because it's the most relevant course for our region, as in the Malaysia region.
For
me, I chose to do accounting because I was actually originally a science student from my high school, but I chose accounting because I actually love numbers. And after finishing my SPM, I got a scholarship from JPA to pursue accounting. So I did 2 years in Melaka, KYSB Melaka, and I did 2 years in University of Auckland. After finishing my degree in Auckland, I got an offer to do MICPA program with Yayasan Peneraju, and I chose to take that offer because it's a very good offer. And I chose MICPA because I graduated from New Zealand, and the syllabus is easier to understand because I have learned those syllabus during my degree.
Yep, great answers. So you've both embarked on the program already. Just want to hear from you, what do you like or enjoy most about the MICPA CANS program?
Well, I can't compare to the other courses because I haven't started on them, but I think MICPA is quite a modern course in that it seems to have adapted very well to our modern digital platforms. Particularly in the event of this COVID, everyone else I know who didn't do MICPA had to push back their exams by more than a month, whereas we didn't have to do that. And I can see from our course materials that it's just very suitable for modern technology, and it's easy for me to work in that way.
As for myself, what I enjoy the most about MICPA CANS program is the open book exam. So it focuses more on understanding the syllabus rather than memorizing it. So you'll have a clear understanding on what you're learning.
Yeah, I think I've heard a lot of our graduates also mention that they really enjoyed and appreciated the open book concept. So on to our next question. So both of you started MICPA right after your degree. How would you describe the differences between doing a degree versus a professional qualification? And do you think that having just a degree is enough, especially for accounting graduates?
Well, in my case, I can't compare them because I didn't do an accounting degree. But for the second question about whether it's accounting degree is enough, Well, I would think you don't get most of the professional benefits in the working world from just having a degree. So my vote would be no. It's not enough.
That's great. So, you've both done very well in the program so far. Like Joshua, you managed to score a gold medal, the top score in the audit paper, and Firdaus, you won a certificate of merit for Fin. So, what do you think are some of your tips and strategies to excel in the program?
Well, I'd like to bring in my knowledge from my work into the paper. In a sense, I am studying the thing that I'm working. It's just sort of putting everything together in a more organized way. Other than that, I would say that, well, obviously not everyone does that. Not everyone has the same background as that. You should understand your course requirements. Pay attention when your lecturer tells you what format the course markers will want you to answer in. And when you're revising, you always want to take a look at those areas that you don't really get and then focus on them until you're really comfortable with everything. Sorry.
It's okay. I thought you finished. As for me, I have 2 tips to share. The first one is time management. So as for me, if you're doing full-time professional certificate, so you have a lot of free time after you finish your classes. During the weekdays, you have free time. So if you don't manage it properly, then it can be quite a problem. So you need to allocate your study time accordingly to actually keep up with the syllabus. My second tip is you need to utilize the resources that are available efficiently. So if you are doing full-time, let's say in Sunway, so they have a lot of resources to accommodate you to succeed in these papers. If you do not understand the syllabus, they can provide you extra classes. So if you can actually utilize the resources that are available, then I believe you can succeed in these papers.
Okay, thanks, Joshua and Firdaus. So we're gonna talk a bit more about the part-time study route next. So I'm gonna just get Joshua to chime in with his answers to several questions ahead. But just to give our viewers a quick background, in the past, our program could only be done on a part-time basis because you had to work and study hand in hand, and the work experience is actually required 3 years in a relevant field. So such as audit, like what Joshua is doing, that's definitely a recognized field of work that you can do while pursuing the MICPA program. And just recently only, we actually opened up the full-time study pathway, which we'll focus on a bit later with Firdaus. So you will notice that majority of our students over the past years have been working and studying. So it can be challenging. So I just want to ask Joshua, why did you choose to do part-time study, and what are some of the challenges you might face having to handle work and study?
Why I chose to do part-time study instead of full-time then work was simply I thought I could fit in the study schedule to my work, and I figured I'd rather earn all this income now than basically delay earning income and getting practical experience by a couple of years. One thing I would say is that I basically segregate my time. Like I won't really go and allow too much of time for work to bleed into study time. I also, like I recommended earlier, I also read the course requirements. I saw when all the assessments are coming in, and I basically ensured that during that period when there's an assessment coming on, that I was able to allocate my time to studying. And another point that I mentioned was, well, I did use my actual work experience to reduce the challenge a bit.
So the work experience did help you understand some of the concepts as well.
Yes, you could say it's.
I guess that leads on to my next question about the benefits of part-time study. So you've mentioned one of it, which is the application of what you learn in your work.
Yes.
What else do you think?
It really is. Most of the benefits of part-time study really does relate to how does your actual working train you and help you to do your exam. It's not only that you have knowledge that is relevant to your exam from work, but your work, the kind of work you do in Big Four also really trains you to think very fast, memorize things very fast, know how to organize your access to information very fast. And since this is an open book exam, that's also quite helpful. Like I actually prepared by really organizing all my open book resources and maximizing my access to them. And I don't think I would know how to do that if I wasn't basically trained to do the same thing by being an auditor. I think this kind of relates to Firdaus' point earlier that it's an open book test. The way that it's taught is assessed is a bit different from other courses. You get more time to analyze the accounting issues and understand them because you don't have to spend as much time on memorizing them. And I think that gives us a bit of extra flexibility and critical thinking skills compared to other candidates who they might flounder a bit if they can't remember what they studied because they don't actually know where to get the info. And yeah.
Okay, great sharing. How does your employer support you in your pursuit of the MICPA qualification?
Well, KPMG basically takes care of most of the administrative process of applying for the exams and also the financing side. Basically, I'm on scholarship with them, and they handle all the examination fees on my behalf. They also give me, a study leave and exam leave allowance to ensure that I actually can focus on passing the exam in the crucial period.
Okay, that's really great. So I think we'll move on now to learning more about the full-time study aspect. So I'm gonna shift over to Firdaus. So Firdaus, you started off the program as a full-time student under sponsorship by Yayasan Peneraju. How do you find the experience of studying full-time? What do you think the benefits are? And perhaps if you also like to start off, maybe you can also talk briefly about the sponsorship that you received.
Okay, so for the sponsorship that I received, so they sponsored me, and if I actually pass it all the papers on one time, one attempt, I don't have to pay anything. But if I fail like 2 of my papers and I still succeed in the supplementary exam, they will still consider it as passing it one time, and I still get full scholarship. Okay, I chose to do full time because I'm not good in juggling a few things at one time. Such as Joshua, he can manage on working and studying in the weekends, but I'm not really good at that. So I chose to do one thing at a time. So I chose to do this full-time study first. So the benefits of doing this full-time study is I am more focused. So let's say Joshua mentioned just now that he didn't get enough sleep. So I think those are the benefits of doing full-time, that you can actually be more focused during the classes and probably understand the syllabus better.
And how did you find the full-time tuition classes at Sunway Test? I believe you do get more hours as a full-time student at with the tuition classes there. Can you share your experience?
Yes, the full-time classes at Sunway Test, the lecturers there are very helpful. They are qualified lecturers, so they will assist you. They will help you in passing those classes, and they will make sure that you understand those syllabus clearly. And even if you don't understand something, you can actually feel free to ask them, and they will try to accommodate you until you can actually get the thing correct. So I believe the MICPA CANS program helped me in preparing me for employment is by, as you can see from the modules, So it is well diversified. So the first module is financial accounting, management accounting, and applied finance, taxation, and audit insurance. So it covers a lot of aspects working as an accountant. So if you are able to complete these 4 modules, I think you are very well prepared in terms of your knowledge for entering the employment. In answering this question, I have to agree a lot with Joshua in regards to the open book exam, because during our study years, we have a lot of memorization to do. I think it's done. That phase is done. So we try to focus on the application side, because in the real world, as you can see, you will have the luxury of Googling something and seeing, like if you want to learn about the IFRS 16 or IFRS 15, you can actually Google it. But if you just memorize it and you don't understand it, then it's not really helpful to you. So I believe this application concept is really what helps MICPA Ken's program to stand out from other qualifications.
Yeah, thank you, Firdaus. So I think we have just come to the end of our Q&A with both Joshua and Firdaus. I thought it would be great if I could just give a short summary of what everyone has shared, and also share a bit of the benefits of the program. So yeah, I really appreciate both of you, Joshua and Firdaus. Thank you for your candor and for being willing to share your experience with everyone. So if I could just have the slides up, I will share some of the benefits of the MICPA CAANZ program. First of all, we are a globally recognized qualification. So MICPA on its own, we are a Malaysian professional body. In fact, we're the only Malaysian professional body, but we are a founding member of IFAC, International Federation of Accountants, since 1977. And all our graduates will have access to the Global Accounting Alliance. It's a group of 10 professional bodies around the world. If I could have the map up to show you which countries the bodies are represented in, you'll see that CAANZ, our collaboration partner, is part of the GAA, and that's why you get access to all these other bodies around the world, which is in Canada, the US, Japan, Hong Kong. In the UK, there's Scotland, Ireland, England, Wales. I mentioned there's Germany, there's South Africa. And so what the GAA passport offers you is actually support in all of these countries free of charge. So here in Malaysia, MICPA, we are a local professional body, so we have a lot of dealings with the local regulators, and anytime there's any updates, we're able to provide that to our members in a very timely manner. And in terms of looking for technical resources or technical support, that's what we're here to provide our members in the Malaysian context, because you will be serving your clients here in Malaysia. So you need to understand how certain regulations or standards will affect you and businesses in Malaysia, and of course the clients that you're advising. So similarly, when you go abroad, you actually want to have local support in whichever country you're at. So that's what the GAA can give you, that local technical support around the world. And once you're part of MICPA and CAANZ, you can get support from all of these other bodies free of charge. They have offered or agreed to provide support to each other's members. You can visit Global Accounting Alliance to find out more information about the offerings to members of GAA bodies. Okay, so I do encourage you to check that out. Now back to the other benefits. When you do our program, you actually get 2 qualifications. You get the Certified Public Accountant of Malaysia title, as well as the Chartered Accountant Australia and New Zealand. And why this is so significant is that in countries like Australia and New Zealand, the CA title holds a lot of value over there. If you're looking to work in a Big 4 in those countries, you will want to have the CAANZ title, because that's going to open the doors for you. And in fact, we have quite a number of our graduates who have gone on to these countries to work. And so that's why in my introduction, I did mention, or Samuel did mention, that I truly believe that this qualification can open doors for you, not just globally, but in especially like countries like Australia and New Zealand, which really prefer to recognize their own local qualification. Okay, point number 4. So local context and relevance. So you will be studying Malaysian tax. The other 4 modules, so we have a total of 5 modules. The other 4 are actually identical to what's offered in Australia and New Zealand. So the program is the same as the CA program, except for the tax paper, which we customize to Malaysian tax. So that makes it relevant to you guys who are studying here and who will be practicing here, and you need to familiarize yourself with the Malaysian tax laws. So in that sense, it's really going to help you be relevant in the Malaysian environment. Point number 5 about employment opportunities. So we do connect you to employment, because if you recall earlier on, we did mention that there are 3 years required practical experience. And so we try our very best to make sure that our candidates can find employment with our approved training employers. And so if we have assisted many of our candidates to actually get opportunities with these various employers. And also to point out that in the MICPA Council, we actually have all the major firms represented in our council, like the Big 4 and also the other mid-sized firms. Like we have all their managing partners sitting in our council. Point number 6 about develops professionals with the right skill sets. So our program is really not about memorizing. It's really how you apply that knowledge. And I think earlier on, Firdaus and Joshua also touched about this, where open book exams teach you to analyze and think critically rather than just regurgitate or memorize. And it's really meant to simulate the real world where you are working and you're able to access resources. So it's a matter of how you actually apply that knowledge. I also wanted to share with you about our passing rate. So on the next slide, you'll see here that the average passing rate for MICPA is 70% since we started this collaboration with Chartered Accountants Australia and New Zealand. So having this statistic really helps you to understand or get a grasp of the doability of this program, that you know that you put in the effort, you can pass. So this slide here is really meant to show you that we have both full-time and part-time study modes. There's a lot of online resources that you can refer to, and yeah, it's really about helping you develop your application skills. And of course, if you need tuition support, Sunway Test is one of our tuition providers. So moving along, I just wanted to also show you the 5 subjects, the same ones that Joshua and Firdaus are going through. It comprises 5 modules, 4 technical modules, and the final capstone, which is like a big case study. So one thing that our candidates really appreciate about the program as well is the structure of the program. Just briefly, you'll see that there's some elements of coursework or marks that you can gain during the term. I feel that the benefits of having these assessments throughout the term really helps you stay up to date on your studies, and you're not waiting for the last minute to cram everything in for the final exam. So this actually helps you pace yourself throughout the term, and at least by the time you reach the final exam, you also roughly know how to strategize to make sure that you pass. And just to add on, our passing mark for the 4 technical modules is 50 out of 100, and for capstone, it's 60. One unique thing about our program here that I want to highlight is that capstone, you'll notice that there's 3 workshops. And I believe our program is the only one out there that has this element of group work where you have to work together in a team. So you get to, first of all, meet lots of new friends from different organizations and different industries to learn from each other. You also get to learn the soft skills that are necessary, which is collaboration, communication, and you have to work together to achieve a common objective. You have to present something at the end of your the third workshop. So there's also that whole presentation skills requirement. In terms of the pathway, so I mentioned earlier that the part-time study route was the traditional route that people used to go through. And so while you're working, you tend to do one module per term. Although you're allowed to do two, it's probably advisable to just do one module per term because you have to balance out your, so many things, your personal life, your work, as well as your program. So one module per term is more than enough. If you were to take every module, like as in every term you take one module, you can complete everything in under 2 years. While you're studying, we are also counting the 3 years work experience because you are a full-time employee during this time. Okay, but we give you a total of 8 years. If you take longer or you decide to take a break in between modules or terms, that's fine, as long as you complete everything within that time frame. On the next one, I just also want to highlight that we do have a program that is specially tailored for accredited degrees that are a 4-year program. So if you are in one of the public universities or even private universities running a 4-year degree that MICPA has accredited, you may want to consider this student sponsorship program, which allows you to start 2 modules or more if you can fit it in before you even graduate. So what we do is we connect you to an employer at the end of year 3 so that if they're happy with you, they want to sponsor you, they see a lot of potential in you, they will actually offer you sponsorship, a job, internship placement, and a job offer after you graduate. So you can imagine, in end of year 3, you've got your future all lined up ahead of you. So this is something really interesting and really great. If you are keen to explore that, you can always contact us separately. We'll give you details on how to apply. The new study pathway is for full-time study, the one that Firdaus is doing, where we allow you to complete all our modules before you graduate. So you do 2 modules per term. Sorry, after you graduate, before you start work. So you do 2 modules per term and you finish off with capstone. I'm sorry, that should say 2021. And so you complete all this within a year, but your 3 years work experience will only commence once you are a full-time employee. So that's probably the main difference where if you're doing part-time study, your work experience is concurrent to your study, whereas for full-time, it's after you've completed your study. So a very quick summary, there's actually a lot of benefits to being a MICPA member. I know that although MICPA is a Malaysian body, you'll be surprised to know that so many of our members are recognized abroad. They are having very successful careers overseas. And some very important things that you need to know about MICPA also, apart from all the technical support that we give you, is the other opportunities, which is and recognition. So MIA, that's critical for you to practice here in Malaysia. So with MICPA, you can apply to MIA. MICPA members are also recognized by LHDN as tax agents, and you're also recognized by SSM as a company secretary and insolvency practitioner. And of course, once you become a MICPA member, you can apply to become a CAANZ member, and you can then utilize your GAA passport overseas. Like I mentioned, how the local support around the world will be very critical for you as a professional accountant. And of course, open book exams develop your critical and analytical thinking skills to make you a well-rounded professional. And this is what employers and businesses are looking for. And the exam structure I've mentioned, also contributes to you being a well-rounded professional. Passing rate Sponsorships, yeah, in order to find out about our sponsorships, please do follow us on social media. We're on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, and LinkedIn. From time to time, we do have sponsors coming in to offer you sponsorship, especially to do full-time study. If you're doing part-time study like Joshua, his firm will actually sponsor you, like what he mentioned. But if you're doing full-time study, it's either self-sponsored or sponsored by somebody, a sponsoring body. So if you need that support or sponsorship, follow us on social media so that when we offer these, when we have them, we'll share it with you and you can apply and make sure that you don't miss out on these opportunities. So having the MICPA CANZ qualification will really make you stand out. I think employers today, they are actually wanting their staff to do the MICPA CANZ qualification. So I really encourage you to, consider this seriously. You get the localized support, you get the global recognition, you have the GAA passport, and the opportunity or recognition in Australia and New Zealand especially. So yeah, so many great points to consider. So I'm going to share in the next slide my contact details. If you have any questions after today, you can always drop me an email here or follow us on our social media channels. You can also drop us a question in there. All right, so I am now going to introduce bring back everyone else for the Q&A session with our MICPA candidates and Emily from Sunway Test. So, if you guys have any questions, please feel free to type it out into the comment field and we will be addressing them live today. So I think this question should go to Firdaus. I learned that you did great. Then how did you prepare your critical file and how can we understand all the standards better?
Okay, Fatin. So the first question, how did I prepare my critical file? So in preparing a critical file, it's important to focus on being familiar with your critical file instead of putting everything in there. So if you can prepare it, make it precise and concise and know where all the topics are, and you can actually utilize it very well. So for the second question, how can we understand all the standards better? I would say the CSG is doing a great job in breaking the standards into simpler parts to understand it. Also, if you actually practice a lot of questions from the past years and from the work examples, I think you can understand the standards better. That's how I did it. That's how I did it during my studies.
Most difficult thing is always your time management. Like how do you type in exactly the right amount of answer and not overdo it? Because you only get 45 minutes for each question. And it's usually, for me, I usually just about answer it on the dot.
Yes, I got to agree with Joshua. I think the timing is important to keep track of your time and not to extend a lot in a question. So if maybe if 40 minutes has passed, maybe you can just move on to the next question, and also try to answer the question that you are confident first to manage your time better.
Yeah, exactly.
How large are the different? Yeah, this one will be for Emily.
Yeah, I think I can answer this. Yeah, typically, the class is about 30 plus for full time. I mean, one group there are 30 plus students. How do they structure? Because of the pandemic, at the moment, all the classes are conducted online. Yeah, but eventually, I think towards the September, October, all the students can come back to the classes already. However, we also give the student the option. if they want to study at home as well, or those who want to come back, they can also have this thing called hybrid learning. So we can conduct the classes concurrently. Yeah, I mean, we have students study at home, online, plus the one that is physically in class. Yeah, so it's about 30 plus per group for full time. Okay.
Thanks, Emily.
Um,
I think I'll take this one. For the GAA passport, do we have to take that country's tax paper? So if you are just working there, you don't need to, but there may be additional requirements if you are applying for a practicing certificate. So if you're just going to work there without having to sign off audit accounts, or you're not actually practicing or setting up your own practice, then it should be okay. You don't need to take additional papers. As a professional, you have already gained the right skill sets to acquire new knowledge and to adapt your, whatever you have learned to a particular country's environment. And so, like a lot of people, a lot of professionals, like even when they come to Malaysia to work, as long as they have a few years of work experience here and they are from certain professional bodies that we recognize, we will allow them to become a MICPA member without having to take additional exams. So it will be the same in other countries. And if you want, you can actually check out the local professional bodies in the countries that you're looking at and see what requirements they have. Okay, I think this one will go to both of you as well. Joshua, oh yeah, because you didn't study accounting. So I guess Firdaus, this will go to you.
Well, to be honest, I believe the knowledge gap between studying at university and studying MICPA, because I came from an New Zealand university, so the syllabus that I learned during MICPA is, I can say, almost similar to what I learned during my degree, but there are a few details that has been chipped in to extend your knowledge. So I wouldn't say a big knowledge gap, but there's something new that you will learn, and I would say still achievable. Also, you still need to put more effort compared to what you did in university, because at university, if you study 1 week earlier for the finals to cover all the syllabus, I think it's still manageable. But for MICPA final exam, I don't think you can do that. Probably a month earlier. That's what I did. And yeah, that's what I can say.
Thanks, Firdaus.
All right, I think that's the end to our Q&A session. Thank you very much for all your questions. We truly appreciate all your questions, and we hope that we have managed to answer to your satisfaction. All right, thank you as well to Eileen, Joshua, Firdaus, and Miss Emily. All right. Okay. All right, we have finally come to the end of our session. I hope all of you have greatly benefited from this sharing session. Okay, if you need more information, feel free to contact me, and I believe that you'll be able to view my email address in the info session below. Okay, we are very glad to have all of you here. Thank you for staying with us to the end, and we hope to see all of you in Sunday College doing MICPA professional paper. All right, thank you, and good night to everybody. Bye.
Thanks, everyone. Bye.